Hello, I'm Paul Bradley, and I'm joined on the phone now by West Bromwich Albion correspondent Chris Lipkowski. Hi, Chris.
Hi, you okay?
Yeah, good, thank you. Well, in Baggies View today, we're going to take a look ahead to the game against Villa. But first of all, Chris, we've asked this question a few times last few weeks. Are West Bromwich Albion now finally safe?
I think they probably are, to be honest. I think if you were to take into account the fact that all the teams below them, or certainly those in the mix, the sort of five that we would consider to be most under threat, many of them have to still play each other. Blackburn have got to play Wolves, for instance. Blackpool and Wigan have got some tough games coming up. So I would say that really the likelihood of three of those teams or two of those teams pulling away and catching Albion now are fairly unlikely. I think one more win would make it certain, but I think we could quite feasibly get to the end of the season and realise that actually Albion were safe on 40 points.
Now, we'll come to the Villa game in just a second, but coming back to that relative safety that West Brom are in at the moment, do you put that down largely to the job that Roy Hodgson has done, or has Roberto Di Matteo got to take a lot of credit as well?
Oh, absolutely. I think Robbie's got to take a lot of credit because for all his deficiencies that were perhaps underlined towards the end of his reign, we have to give him great credit for the job he did at the start of the season. For them to bounce back after that 6-goal defeat on the opening day and to get some fairly memorable results. The games at Arsenal and Everton spring to mind as being games which Albion fans will for a long time and gave them potentially their greatest days out in the Premier League thus far. And he got it wrong towards the end. I think a lot of that was down to him not being able to maybe recognise or solve the problems within the camp and within the dressing room, and certainly on the training ground. And I think towards the end of his reign, he got one or two selection issues wrong, and he was excluding players for no apparent reason as well, who are now in the team and doing well. So, it sort of unravelled a little bit. And ironically, as we move on to the Villa game, it was probably around the time of that game at Villa Park where we were starting to see worrying signs creeping into Albion's overall play that it was going to be a hard winter for them, and I think that was probably the period where it was getting towards the beginning of the end for Robbie.
And just looking at the Villa game now, West Brom fans will be absolutely desperate to notch up a victory over their West Midlands rivals. Just put it into context for us how much this means to West Brom fans and how much it still means to the players as well under Roy Hodgson, even though it seems that both of these sides are probably safe now.
Well, I think it means a lot to players generally every time they step out, and Albion have had this sort of resilience about them recently. They've been very difficult to beat, very dogged, and of course playing Villa, their local rivals, that will only intensify. It will be a very good atmosphere at the Hawthorns. I suspect the Albion fans will be sensing that they can get a win against Villa. But they'll probably be on more parity than Villa than they ever have been in the Premier League. And I know we said that in December before the first game, but Albion aren't in form at the moment, taking that Chelsea defeat out of the equation, and I think they'll fancy it. That they'll go in very buoyant, very strong, and I suspect it will be a close game.
And lastly, Chris, in your opinion, what is it the West Bromwich Albion need to do in the game against Villa to make sure they do come away with all 3 points?
Well, I think they need to basically keep the shape and organisation. They've come up against some very quick wingers in recent weeks. Or certainly players who bomb down the wing. If you think about Ashley Cole and Lennon and Bale in recent weeks, so they have coped with it reasonably well. They struggled against Chelsea, but did well at Tottenham. They'll need to do that again. Really, they'll need to curb the threat of certainly Villa's attacking presence, so that the pace that they have in the team. Midfield will be key. Shana and Malumbu, who really do need to be on their game for this one. Shana certainly seems to relish these kind of the intensity of derbies. He's going to be a key player, and of course Peter Odemwingie up front, who is on great form at the moment, scored 13 goals, and he looks very sharp at the moment. And Albion didn't have that kind of presence about them when they last played Villa, and it's going to give them an edge. And it's been a season for Albion where they've broken a lot of hoodoos. They beat Liverpool after 30 years. They beat Newcastle in the league for the first time at home in 20 odd years. They their last win at Arsenal had come in 1983. So there's been a few Jonas that they've managed to eradicate. Everton, again, away from home was another one. So this is the one remaining hoodoo, with the probable exception of Stoke, which has yet to go this season. So I think they'll really fancy, the fans certainly will really fancy it, and I suspect the players will be very motivated from that respect, because of course they still appreciate that they probably need one more win just to be sure of crossing that line.
Okay, well, it seems that Aston Villa certainly will need to be prepared as they come into this match. Chris, thanks very much for that today. We'll be back again next week with more Baggies View, and we'll see you all then.